Hey guys, I want to talk about the cure for the growing obesity epidemic. Okay, specifically, believe it or not, the cure for the growing obesity epidemic among the less educated population in the lower income brackets. Okay, this video was actually inspired by a Stan Efferding video called "Stop Being So Fat" by Stan Efferding. I don't know if you know who he is. He is a very well-spoken, very educated, very successful person. Right now, he's being billed as the world's strongest bodybuilder because apparently he set records in powerlifting, and now he's like becoming a professional bodybuilder. Personally, I think he's awesome because, like I said, he's very successful no matter what he does. Very well spoken, and he has owned several companies, multi-million-dollar companies, not just in the fitness realm, but also just in general. So I like successful people, so that's why I watch some of his videos. Now, in this particular video, he has some extremely rare and valuable insight into the obesity epidemic on the Samoan Islands, and the reason is his wife was born and grew up there. Okay, so he knows his wife. He's spoken to his wife about what it was like to live there, to grow up there. Plus, he's actually visited the Samoan Islands to visit his wife's family. So he's seen it firsthand. So he really knows what's going on. Now, the insight was incredible. What he basically said was, you know, his wife grew up in British Samoa. Okay, they lived on a farm. They ate what they grew on the farm. What they didn't eat, they sold, and that was their source of income. They had the ocean nearby, so they could get seafood, they could get fish. Sometimes they ate meat, sometimes they had milk. Basically, they were living like cavemen, Stone Age, okay, a paleo lifestyle. Basically, it was just all natural food. Nobody had cavities, nobody was fat. Then, I think it was when she was 10 years old or so, her family moved from British to American-controlled Samoan Islands. And for the first time, they saw fat, out-of-shape people. Politicians and religious leaders. They did not need to do manual labor, so they never got any exercise. And they had enough money that they could eat imported rubbish processed foods. Okay? As a matter of fact, he said that at that time, it was a sign of affluence. It was a sign of success. You must be financially stable. You must be very successful because you can afford to be fat and overweight. Okay? Then what happened is the Americans, and I'm sure we were this was very well meant by us, but we brought food stamps to the American Samoan Islands. So that means even the impoverished people who could not afford imported rubbish foods could now afford mayonnaise, flour, vegetable oil, not to mention the Twinkies, Ho-Hos, whatever other rubbish was brought in, imported into the country because they had food stamps. Very interesting. The family used to sell their food from their farm. They couldn't really do that anymore because people who had food stamps would rather buy imported rubbish food than buy food, you know, just natural food from the farms. So that was a side note, but that's very interesting. And like I said, everybody started getting fat then. As a matter of fact, his wife's father, I think, died of diabetes, which basically meant he died of obesity. Okay? So then he starts to say things like, he starts to talk about a solution for the problem, which I totally disagree with. Okay, what he says basically is something that I agree with it this far. It's just a fact, a statistic. It has nothing to do with an opinion or an agreement. What he says is that you know, more educated people in higher income brackets tend to be less overweight and more in shape than people in the lower income brackets and that have less education. So he decided that the solution to the obesity problem is education. Like, people don't know that eating rubbish is bad for them. People don't know that being fat and out of shape is unhealthy. And I completely, totally disagree. Now, yes, there are people out there that have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Okay? There are people out there. Somebody commented on one of my videos, I think it was like, why I eat fat, why people get fat from eating fat but not me. And you know, I basically talked about how, like, you know, a guy over here eats, you know, bacon and eggs. I eat bacon and eggs. But he also eats waffles and pancakes and biscuits with syrup and sugar in his coffee, etc., etc., etc. Whereas I just stick to protein and fat, and that's why I don't get fat, okay? And this guy made this comment. He's like, oh, congratulations, you just figured out a way to take in less calories than you burn, and you've got molasses flowing through your veins, you're going to die of a heart attack, and all that saturated fat's going to kill you, and you're going to die before you reach retirement age, and, you know, etc., 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 which is fucking ridiculous, because I guess this moron has not been around for like the last couple decades, where it came out that the cholesterol myth was literally bullshit, a complete lie propagated by the sugar industry, okay? And that has no basis in reality, okay? And he must have missed all these studies where it's been proven scientifically that you could actually lower your cholesterol by consuming more cholesterol and going on a low-carb, high-fat diet. Now, I'm not pushing a ketogenic or a low-carb, high-fat diet. I don't care what kind of diet you go on. There are a million diets out there, and a million of them work. Find one that works, whatever it is that works best for you. But the point I'm trying to make is, yes, there are people out there who are not educated and don't know what's going on. But even those people know that eating rubbish is bad for you. Even those people know that not exercising is bad for you, okay? So I really don't think that it's a matter of education. A great example of this is my girlfriend, okay? My girlfriend is probably the most educated person I've ever actually personally met in my entire life. She has 2 master's degrees, and she has she's working on her MBA right now. She is not stupid. She is not uneducated. And she smoked for years. And she knew it was fucking stupid. She knew it was unhealthy for her. It's not that she didn't realize that smoking was bad. She just did it anyway, even though she knew it was bad for her. Okay? I am not a moron. I am not uneducated. And I smoked for years also. And I knew it was fucking stupid. But I did it anyway. So what I'm trying to say is it's not a matter of education. Okay? What I think it is I think it's a matter of motivation, not education. What I think it is that people who live in the lower income brackets and have less education tend to have lower expectations for themselves, for life. Okay? They tend to live in a world where nothing really good happens to them. Okay? And the only fun they're going to have is going to come from, you know, from self-destructive behavior, basically. Okay? I mean, if you tell a person who smokes, who is uneducated, lower income bracket, whatever, you know, hey, you should probably stop smoking. What, am I not allowed to have any fun in my life? So basically, this person's telling himself that his motivation is to smoke cigarettes. Like, the only fun he has in life is smoking cigarettes. Okay? You know, maybe you should go ahead and, you know, spend an hour or 2 or 3 hours after work in the gym or going running or going for a walk instead of sitting in a bar smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and vodka. Oh, I'm not allowed to have fun anymore, so I bust my ass all day at work. Now I got to bust my ass in the gym, and I'm still not allowed to have a drink and a cigarette. Where's the fun in that? So basically this person says, you know, exercising is punishment, it's work. Drinking and smoking is pleasure. Like, the only reason he's alive are for those 3 hours a day when he gets off work, when he drinks himself to death and smokes himself to death. Okay, and that's the problem. And like I said, I think it really does have a lot to do, not necessarily with education, although that's, you know, those less financially successful people tend also to be less educated. It tends to be, you know, the same group of people. But, like, let's take a woman, for instance. Okay, let's take a woman, for instance, who is going to, you know, she graduated from college. Maybe she's a lawyer. Let's just say that she's a lawyer, okay? She's single because, you know, she knows her value. She doesn't need a man, literally doesn't need a man, okay? And she knows she's going to be going to Jamaica with all of her money that she's earning from her great job. She's going to go to Jamaica and lay on the beach for a week or so, okay? And she wants to look good. Okay, she wants to put on an expensive bikini. She wants to put on, you know, an expensive, you know, pair of clothes when she's not wearing a bikini on the beach. She wants to look good in the bikini and in the clothes. She's going to flirt. She's going to hang out with her girlfriend. She's going to have a really good time. You know, she's going to go ahead and do some active, whatever, parasailing, rock climbing, you know, what, I don't know, do they even have rocks to climb in Jamaica? I don't know. Hiking, whatever. I mean, she's going to have an active vacation. She's going to have intercourse. She's going to have a great time. She's going to flirt. She wants to look good. She wants to be healthy. She wants to be, you know, physically fit. Okay? So that's her reason. That is her motivation. Her motivation is she wants to be in shape then. I mean, she probably wants to live to be 1,000 years old. She doesn't want to die because she enjoys her life. Okay? If you ask her, you know, why don't you hang out in a bar? It's like, I want to enjoy my life. So her idea of enjoying her life is looking good in a bikini on the beaches of Hawaii or Jamaica. Okay? So, like I said, that's the difference. You know, you contrast that to somebody who's hanging out in Walmart with, like, you know, a pack of cigarettes and, you know, wearing clothes that don't even fit, that she got out of, like, you know, the 50% off bin in Walmart, you know, buying food. Well, hey, let's look at this. We could buy a case of 50 ho-hos for cheaper than that. So they buy, you know, just cheaper food, rubbish food. They enjoy that rubbish food. And that's basically what they enjoy, you know, smoking, eating rubbish food, buying cheap clothes. I mean, she doesn't have Gucci clothes. So who cares if she's in shape? She's not going to go to, you know, Jamaica. So who cares if she's in shape? Okay? Her husband doesn't find her attractive. So why does she care to get in shape for him? I mean, he's 50 pounds over, 150 pounds or whatever overweight. He showers once a week. So why should she bust her ass in the gym and, you know, live on ice cubes and spring water to be in shape for her husband who's fat, doesn't fucking shower, and fucking doesn't want to see her because he's the guy who hangs out in the bar smoking and drinking for 3 hours every day after work before he has to come home to his family who he hates. Okay? So like I said, you got this woman over here, you know, she's got a bunch of kids pissing her off all day. So the only way that she, you know, the only joy she has in life is going to Walmart and eating a whole bunch of crap, smoking cigarettes, you know? So getting drunk. So like I said, that's basically what it comes down to. I mean, you see this a lot of times too. If you give somebody some money, or if somebody gets, you know, like a, you know, if somebody gets like a, you know, like a tax return, or for some reason they win, not $1 million, but like, you know, they get somehow a windfall of, you know, several $100s or a couple $100s, and they're poor and they're uneducated, what do they tend to do? Well, they're going to probably go out and, you know, get drunk. They're probably going to buy a whole bunch of cigarettes. They're probably going to go ahead and buy a whole bunch of food, rubbish food. They're going to go to, you know, get pizza for the whole family. And I'm not saying that's not bad. I mean, like, oh my God, you're not allowed to enjoy your time with your family. But like, what you're basically doing is you're equating enjoyment with self-destructive behavior, you know? And like I said, I mean, I don't know. That's what I think the problem is, because, you know, I've been training people online. The people that tend to hire me for my online training, you know, tend to be more serious. Okay, you know, if they're willing to actually find me in the internet, that means they're looking for answers. If they're willing to actually pay me for training, they're obviously willing to look for the answers, and they actually want help. So they're more likely to do what I tell them. But if somebody, you know, goes over and asks me in, like, you know, just in the world somewhere, whether it's in the gym or whether it's like, oh, hey, you know, somebody told me that you do, you know, training and stuff like that, and I tell them, like, hey, you know, you should probably stop doing this self-destructive behavior. They're like, well, am I not allowed to have fun anymore? Because, like I said, that's their definition of fun. You know, another thing that I think that's really great is when somebody's like, well, when am I going to be able to start eating food again? When can I start drinking again? Like, oh, so you're going to go for 4 months, get yourself in shape. You've got yourself out of shape and got fat by eating rubbish food. Now you're going to go ahead 4 months, be really strict, and then after the 4 months of getting yourself in shape, you're going to start eating the rubbish food and drinking the alcohol that got you fat in the first fucking place. And then you say it's a yo-yo diet because my diet doesn't work, even though what you're doing is doing the same shit that got you fucked up in the first place. So anyway, what I'm basically saying is, you know, everybody knows what they're doing is wrong. And even if you don't have the education, it's for free. I mean, you guys are watching this video on YouTube, so it's free. You can get plenty of free information out there if you don't have the information, if you are uneducated. What it really comes down to is your motivation. If people are going to get in shape, if people are going to stay in shape, then they have to equate being in shape with being happy. They have to equate, you know, smoker's cough, hangovers, being bloated and fat, carb comas, hanging out in smoky bars, being overweight. They have to equate that with being unhappy, and they have to equate a good workout, a good healthy meal, buying clothes a size smaller because they've lost weight, walking past a mirror and seeing themselves and being like, damn, I look good. They have to equate all of that with being happy. Okay. And like I said, until that happens, the obesity problem is just going to get worse and worse.